I'd like to talk to you now about how to successfully use Web 2.0. Now there's a lot of sites out there, a lot of different ways of doing it, and what I'm going to do is, as we go through the various websites, I'm going to share with you tips and techniques that I've learnt from experience, from going through forums and so on and so forth. So what I want to do is share with you how to use each of the sites successfully, how to benefit from them. But what I want to do in the meantime is just give you some general hints on tips on how to use Web 2.0 successfully. Well, firstly, you've got to have a Web 2.0 site. Now that's fairly obvious, but you've got to make your website interactive. You've got to encourage your visitors to interact with you. So you've got to encourage commenting, so get them to comment on your blogs, start dialogues with them on the blogs. Get them to post articles. You know, some social networking sites allow you to post articles or to post blogs. Encourage them to do this, and particularly, you know, tell them the benefits of it. Post videos, that's another thing to do. Encourage them to post videos, whether these are videos directly to your website, in which case you're going to obviously need to have a significant amount of disk space, or to post YouTube links. Now YouTube links are obviously better for you, but they do have YouTube branding on. However, they're not going to take up your disk space and bandwidth. So think about that. Think about posting audio. Again, same issue. They can eat up your bandwidth and cost you money. Blogging as well. You can set up, you know, user-generated blogs on your website. What about that? Would that help you at all? So think about encouraging all of these things. And obviously the sharing of legally allowed information. So now obviously you are going to get people that try to post things that they can't or they shouldn't. In which case it's up to you to, you know, take appropriate action, i.e. remove it and stop them from doing it. But basically, yeah, encourage them to share information, whether it's reviews of TV shows, reviews of products, or just general chit-chat. Just encourage them to do it. Now, initially with Web 2.0 sites, you've got to do a fair amount of work to get the site going. You've obviously got to install the site, then you've got to drive traffic to it, you've got to interact a lot on the site, encourage people to interact with each other. But this is the cool thing about Web 2.0, is eventually it becomes self-sustaining as the user base grows. Once you hit a certain number of users, and this varies according to niche, but yeah, it's normally not more than a few hundred. Once you reach a certain number of users, what happens is it becomes self-sustaining, because the users are talking with each other, the users are inviting new people there, the users are posting content onto the website. So all you need to do is to go in and just make sure everything's okay and add stuff yourself. Now, if you're going to use a Web 2.0 site, obvious what the visitors need to do. Don't hide buttons or links or anything else. Make it really, really clear what they have to do to sign up. Create training videos for them. Show them exactly what they have to do in order to use your site. You know, you've got to train them, show them how it works. The more you can make it easier for them, the easier it is for them, then the more they're going to use your website. And be active in the community. Yeah, particularly in niches. If you've built up a bit of a name, which you can using Web 2.0 sites, then if you're active in the community, people are going to be really, really impressed. Now, I remember years and years ago, well, a few years ago, I used to do, I don't do so many now since I've had children, but I used to do a lot of offline shows. I'd go to trade shows and I'd exhibit a lot of my products there and I would sell them. I remember going to a really, really big one up in London. It was an incredible show with about 3,000 or 4,000 people per day through the door, if not more. Now, it was massive. And I had my stall set up where I had all my products. There was a big picture of me at the back and lots of bump and information and so on. And the number of people that came up to the stall and were really surprised to see me there, because I'd had this stall and I'd had my picture up and I had all these products there, they assumed that I was this big name guru type person, which, to be honest, at the time I wasn't. I'd only been in the business about 18 months. So, you know, I wasn't particularly well known in the business. But the shock on these people when they saw that I was there, because all the big gurus, none of them had bothered to turn up because it was beneath them to appear at a trade show. But the fact that I was there really impressed them and really helped make sales, because a lot of them wanted to come and talk to me as the creator of the products and get information about them. And that made it so easy to sell, and it was the most profitable show I ever did. Now, that shows you that that people in niches, obviously not perhaps so much in internet marketing, but people in niches will be impressed by the fact that you're active in the community, particularly if you've branded the community in your name. So think about doing that, because that can really, really help you to sort of make sales, because that people will assume, because you've got the site, that you're an expert and, you know, a guru almost. Okay, now it is important that you're very proactive in stopping spam and inappropriate content. People will try it on, particularly when your site gets popular. You're going to get people doing that. You can set it up so it's user moderated, or you can set it up so that you do all the moderation. Best is a bit of both, really. Make sure there's a way for people to report spam and inappropriate content and act upon it quickly. Because to be perfectly honest with you, a lot of people are going to try to post comments to your site, particularly when they realise it's popular. So if you're proactive in stopping it, then that's going to give a good message to the visitors. There's nothing worse than going to a community, getting all excited about it, and finding out it's suddenly taken over by, you know, adult links and the like that people don't want to see. Okay, now you've got to make sure that the site is fresh with new information. So keep putting new information on there. Right, if it's got a blog on it, write in the blog. If you can post articles, post videos, post audio. Make the site your own. Really, really add lots of content to it, so there's a reason for people to keep coming back. Because that's the key thing for Web 2.0 success. It's got to be sticky. Why are they going to come back to your website? Give them a compelling reason so that they know they have to. Okay, now encourage and make it easy for visitors to invite their friends to join. Now I'm sure on a lot of these sites you have seen, and I will show you as we go through these sites, they have links on them where you can click to invite all your friends from your Yahoo Messenger box or your Gmail address book. So put those sort of features on if you can. Make it so easy that they cannot fail to invite their friends. You know, give them a bribe to invite people along. Make it simple, so it's a couple of clicks of a button and they will invite their friends, particularly if the site is useful for them. Now another thing you can do is reward visitors for posting information. One thing that I tend to do on some of my sites is I run a weekly or a monthly competition depending on how active the community is. And basically the best post as voted for by the readers will win a reward, and the reward would be a copy of a course, a book, a gift certificate for one of my other sites. So all I'm doing is giving them something that I own anyway, so it doesn't really cost me anything to do so, but they don't really know that, and it looks absolutely fantastic for them because I'm offering, you know, $100 for the best post, you know, $100 a gift certificate, or even offer cash if you can. I tend to offer gift certificates, but cash is an even bigger motivator, and that really gets people posting. Now if you want to be successful with Web 2.0, you've got to drive traffic to your site. Okay, you can use Web 2.0 methods, you can use pay-per-click, you can use standard internet marketing techniques like article marketing, directory entries and so on, but you've got to have the traffic. Pay-per-click and other advertising works really, really well. You could do classified adverts, advertising on other websites, advertising people's e-zines and so on and so forth. All of that will work really well to drive traffic to your site. Now one thing you can do, again this is sort of starting to head into slightly grey territory, but it is one that I know a lot of people do when a site's starting, is they create multiple user accounts for themselves and start conversations going and post, so it makes it look like the site's more active. Now you can also pay people to do this. I know there's a lot of websites out there where you can find people who will quite happily for a few dollars go onto your website and make a certain amount of posts. So I could pay someone $20 for 20 posts, on relevant posts on my site, and they'll do it. Or you can get your friends involved. So what you can do is you can initially, I did this with some of my sites, is I invited my friends and family to join. I encouraged them to post. I gave them help and everything else, showed them how it benefit their business, and they posted. Now remember, what you're doing with Web 2.0 is you're building a list of members, and that's the real key. You've got to capture them as a member with a valid email address. because if you can do that, you can market to them, and you could build up a website with hundreds and hundreds of members, and then you've got a pre-made, pre-warmed list that will be quite responsive to you, and if you mail to them regularly, you can do really well from them. And of course, don't forget you can earn through advertising on the site. And we're not just talking CPA ads or AdSense. You could sell advertising as well. Once you get to a certain level of traffic, people will want to buy adverts on your site. So consider that as well. But Web 2.0 is a fantastic set of technologies that can really, really help you to get ahead and to make some good money online and build a list of warm prospects that are eager to buy from you. So let's go on and talk more about Web 2.0 and how you can use it.